Dear Diary, I awoke on a strange foreign island with no idea how I got here. I could hear bees buzzing and feel the wind in my hair. The ocean stretched as far as I could see. I knew I was alone. I immediately began to gather materials I would need. Grass and sticks for a fire, flint for tools, and carrots for sustenance. What I didn't expect is to stumble across a huge turkey-like creature in the berry bushes. The bastard was too fast to catch. Note to self, do some sprint training. As I began to gather more supplies, it became clear that my hands would not be enough to survive this wilderness. Therefore, I set about collecting more flint and sticks, and managed to craft myself an axe and a pickaxe. With these tools, I set about destroying Mother Nature's work. I felled trees to get logs, which was bloody hard work, and destroyed boulders to get the rocks that they contained. I found a peculiar substance called nitra hidden in one of the boulders. I shall experiment on this at a future date. As I was working, I had to wonder, does anyone live here? Or am I all alone on this island? These are questions that I must answer quickly, or I could fall into madness. There was one fantastic find on this day as well. I managed to find gold hidden in a boulder. I wondered what I could use this for, but I collected it anyway. My second stroke of what I thought at the time was good luck was finding a path leading out of the grasslands. I followed it, not knowing where it would lead, but hoping beyond hope that it would lead to some civilization or someone that could help me. Of course, I had to get the gold before I left. Gold is always important. As I continued down the dirt path, I became increasingly aware that night was beginning to fall. As these were foreign lands, I didn't know what would come out when the sun had fallen. Therefore, I made my first priority finding some sort of shelter. I needed to light a fire and find a place I could protect myself. I wondered if I could settle in the swamplands. There were plenty of reeds which I could use for paper, and it seemed safe. But then, I was suddenly attacked by a giant tentacle. I managed to escape, running up the dirt path, trying to find shelter somewhere else. Breathlessly, I kept running up the dirt path. I managed to make it out of the swamplands into a winding path in the forest. I decided that here would be as good a place as any to settle for the night in the cover of the trees. I quickly set about making myself a campfire. Suddenly I felt a lot safer with the welcoming glow of the campfire to warm me. I cleaned up my area to sleep and set about building a science machine. Yes, diary, back in England, I was a great scientist. I used the gold and stones I found earlier to build a fantastic contraption, with which I used to build a shovel and a spear. As it grew darker and darker, I began to get a bit scared, so I put some logs on the fire for some extra light. Here I cooked some of my carrots that I found in the ground, and also some berries, and I enjoyed a delicious dinner of roast carrot with berries to finish. I then decided to take a well-earned break. It had been a long day, I felt relatively safe in this forest, and I knew I had much more to do tomorrow. It was morning and I was delighted. I was still alive and I felt blessed. I attempted to pick a mushroom on the way up the path, but it escaped before I managed to grab it. So I continued up the path to see what treasures I could find. While I was walking, I saw a suspicious-looking boulder. I decided to mine it out. It seemed to lead to some mysterious cave system. Of course, I decided to hop down. I landed in the cave with a bump. There was a huge spider's nest and a skeleton. Unfortunately, the spiders were awake. I took one look at them and ran away. After that terrifying ordeal and brush with death, I decided to play it a bit safer from now on. I had a look at the map and continued up the dirt path, seeing what I could find and hoping against hope to find some food. I was beginning to run low. Fortunately, not far up the path I spotted a suspicious red mushroom. I decided to pick it and check it out later on. After a couple of minutes more walking, I came across a shrine. There was a gnome and a strange box thing. I called the gnome Gordon. He was my new friend. However, I didn't know what the box thing did, and I was immediately suspicious. However, I was very glad to find the spear that was held in the ground. As I continued to collect some more goodies, it became clear that I didn't have enough space in my pockets. I needed a backpack or a chest to store things in, and sharpish. I planted some trees because I'm good like that and I do love Mother Nature, and then I set about finding some more resources. A pile of rotting meat led me to a ramshackle house. The occupants looked like frogmen. When I tried to say hello, they started to chase after me and tried to punch me in the face. It was terrifying, so I got my spear out, but they punched me too many times. I managed to get away with the skin of my teeth. I wouldn't be taking any frogmen on anytime soon. In fact, I was rather bent on wiping them out. It was starting to get late and I was getting hungry, so I started to take the treacherous route home. I followed down the path, past my cave system, past the scary area, and down to the forest where I lived. Upon returning home, I built myself a fire pit, which was a much more sustainable way to keep myself warm. Now all I needed was a way of harvesting food, and I was pretty set to go in my new forest area, as long as it didn't rain, of course, or get too cold. I collected some more wood so I could build myself a chest. I needed to make some boards, and I needed to make them fast, so I started to fell the trees around my little camp. With these boards I constructed a little chest. Pah! Mr. Smith in woodwork class was wrong. I could build things out of wood. I stored some of my excess materials in this chest and then tried to pass some time before the night fell. Questions raced through my mind as I stoked up the fire. Who were those mysterious frogmen? What is that box thing? And why won't Gordon talk back to me? These were the sort of questions that I would have to face tomorrow morning. I ate some mushroom for dinner, followed by a few seeds and berries. They filled me up nicely, but I was completely out of food now and I would have to go about finding some tomorrow morning. But no matter. I stored my excess weaponry, settled down by the fire, and got ready for a good night's rest. Tomorrow will be the third day since I've been marooned on this island. I must discover where I am and if I can find help. But that can wait. Tonight I'll have a good night's sleep with my full belly of mushroom and berries. Good night, diary, and good night, Gordon. Will our hero survive? Find out in part 2 of the Don't Starve Diaries. Oh, and don't forget to check all my other content if you like this video. My name is Jimmy Ward, hope you enjoyed this video, please give it a like if you did, and subscribe for more. Thanks very much, bye bye.